welcome. It's February, Valentine's month, and I thought in honor of Valentine's month, Valentine's Day, today we would do a little breakdown of dancer pose and how to make our dancer feel a little more free, invoke the best dancer in ourselves so we can dance away our Valentine's Day. Wearing my pink shirt. Okay, so come along with me. I have a chair. If you don't have a chair, you can use some blocks or, well, I'll tell you when we get to it, a staircase. It's really excellent. I also have a strap that you may or may not use or wish to use. So let's do a really quick warm-up in case you're coming into this cold. If you're already warmed up, feel free to skip ahead the next minute or so, and if you want to come with me, we're just going to do a really simple sun salutation. Feel your feet. And take this time to come into your breath as well. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in, arms up. As we exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. We'll inhale to extend to the spine. Exhale, hands down, step back to our lunge. We're going to drop our knee, inhale up into a low lunge. We're just going to lift the back knee and switch legs here. Just a really simple sun salutation. Coming up into that low lunge again. Hands come down, step both feet back into a plank. You can do it on your knees if you wish. We are going to come right down onto our belly. Find a little back bend of your choosing. Maybe cobra, maybe baby cobra. Maybe you're into up dog, you decide. We'll find our downward facing dog. Inward or inverted V. Nice, and then feet are coming back up to the front of the mat. Hands walk up the legs, halfway lift, and we'll come all the way back up again. Nice. All right, if you feel like you need to do that a couple more times, go ahead. And if not, let's move on. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to actually do dancer pose, and then we're going to do a few other movements just to see how that changes our experience in dancer pose. So dancer, we stand on one foot, so it is a balance. We take the other foot in our hands, so we have some knee flexion here. We have to be able to reach the arm backwards into extension to take that foot. And then as we start to move the leg back, we get into some hip extension here. So we push the foot into our hand. We start to get into a bit of a back bend, so a heart opener, and you can see a little bit of a twist. Let me turn full on sideways. So you can see a little more of my torso. I'm twisting a little bit there. Not so much a side bend. You can see I'm not leaning to one side, but a bit of a twist. Feel free to use your hand on the wall. Yeah. We'll come back down. And then other side. So feeling that supporting leg, you can have your hand on the wall if you like. You can also bring that arm up in the air or out in front of you, whatever works. As you take that ankle and we press the foot into the hand, that leg moves back in space and maybe finding a bit of a back bend. Now, you might not be very warm yet. I'll tell you a secret, I warmed up already, so my dancer didn't look like that an hour ago. Okay, now you might be saying, Catherine, I cannot reach my ankle. So what am I supposed to do? So let me give you a couple of options here. One is to use a strap. And there's a couple ways that you can put your strap on your foot. I've had people do a yoga sandal, where you bring the strap around the foot and then between the toes. Yeah? Or you can just wrap it around your foot, even this way, and maybe crisscross it a couple times for security. What I'm going to suggest, though, is as you bring that heel back, what I see a lot is this. So when I do my dancer, I don't have my arm bent up like this. So if you can do this, I'm going to suggest if you can hold the strap with the other arm, you can reach down lower to have the arms straight. So make that reach, make your arms straight and holding that strap wherever it makes sense. Again, you can bring a hand on the wall if your balance is not so great. But really feel the 3 points in the supporting foot as you hold there. thing is, you know what? So what if you don't even take your foot, right? You can bring it up, you can reach back. This is also perfectly fine. Yeah? So, with that out of the way, if you need to use your strap, use your strap. If you don't want to hold your foot, don't hold your foot. All good. I'm going to move my strap out of the way for now. And let's find one of the first movements we're going to do. It's going to be a lunge with a little bit of a back bend. So as we pull forward, we're going to step one leg back and lower the knee to the ground. Walk the hands up. So you can see that my back leg is in extension, like it will be. We're going to inhale the arms up. And as we pull them down, the elbows draw down and lift through the heart, finding a little bit of a back bend and a little bit of extension in the arms. Inhale back up. I can feel the 3 points of the front foot on the ground. Come on back. You know what? I'm going to untuck my back toes too. And this might make a lot of sense, right? This looks a lot like the pose, right? If I were to reach back for my ankle, that would look a lot like the pose. Come on back up. I'm going to switch sides. Foot comes in, other leg goes back, knee comes down. We bring ourselves up. Maybe untuck those toes. You can decide. Inhaling up, move forward a little bit. Yeah. And arms come down. We're finding a little bit of a back bend. The arms are coming a little bit back in space. Inhale up. And come on down. And one more time. Easy, easy breath. And let that go. I'm going to tuck the back toes under, bring the feet together, and walk ourselves up. All right. That being said, let's just give our dancer another try and see how it feels. We practiced a couple of movements that are very similar to what we would do in our dancer. So taking one foot, taking a hold of it, or using your strap. Yeah, arm can be up or out or wherever it makes sense. Pressing the foot back into your hand and just noticing what your dancer feels like now. Easy, easy breath. And then we'll switch sides. Taking a hold of the ankle, the leg moves back however much. Maybe you stay here, maybe you push the foot into your hand, start to find that back bend. Can't see it very well from that angle, can you? Yeah. And then we'll let go. Okay, so that movement might have made a lot of sense to you because of how it mimics the movement that we're going to do. The next movements are going to be a little bit different because we're going to be working not so much on the movements that look like the pose, but engaging the muscles that support that movement. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our chair. And if you don't have a chair, you can use a pile of blocks, or I like to do this on the stairs because you'll see even the chair is a little bit high for me. So I have it a little bit ahead of me and beside me. I'm going to lift my legs that's closest to the chair and set it on the chair. And my hips are mostly square here, so I haven't opened the leg so much. So you can see now that I've opened the leg more, and can you see my hips have had to twist? You can see my torso is twisted. So I'm setting it up so I don't have to twist. I can still feel the 3 points of my foot on the floor. This foot is light, so I'm not like standing on the chair. And this is where you can imagine, like if I was at the stairs, then I can pick the level that's a little bit better for me. You could also stack your blocks and put your foot on the blocks. I'm going to come back to my chair. Again, feeling the supporting leg. And I like to bring my hands on my hips. We're going to find just a little bit of a lunge into and back, like towards that chair and back. And the reason why I sometimes like to check my hip crease here is because sometimes my hip flexor starts to fire. And there's really not much need for my hip flexor to fire here. I'm already in flexion. I'm not bringing this leg closer to me. I'm moving my pelvis. And sometimes I think about moving it from this leg, sometimes from this leg, but we're just moving, and it's a little bit of abduction, a little bit of rotation. And then we're going to just pause and set that down. And just notice how your two legs feel. My leg that was up feels a little more solid somehow. And we'll switch sides. And again, just taking that leg up, opening it out, setting it down, hips stay nice and square, and finding that little lunge in and out of that direction. Oh, my chair is a little wobbly. It's best if your chair is not wobbly. So nice and easy. And I like to notice too what my trajectory is. Is it like totally diagonal? Is it more a little bit sideways? And where do I try to push from? There's lots of ways I could make this movement happen. It's just interesting to notice what's my pattern. And you notice it's not a lean with the body. It's a movement of the pelvis, and my body is coming with. Yeah. Good. And then we're going to come on off. Good. If you want, you can use the chair for balance or the wall. So let's once again find our feet. Take one foot. Other arm can come up or out, again on your hip, on your chair, on the wall. And as you push that foot back into your hand, finding that dancer pose. Now, showing it from this angle too, the one other thing we don't want to do is let the leg float out here. So if that's starting to happen, just make it a little bit smaller, yeah? And we'll take the other side. Heel comes back, pushing the foot back, and just noticing what changed in your dancer this time. Funny, eh? I don't know about you. I always find when I do something with my legs out like that, my dancer pose, my extension in my legs gets better. Helps my hip flexors to get softer. So, yeah, let's move on. So the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of a side bend. So I know earlier I said dancer is a back bend and a bit of a twist, but it's not really a side bend. That's okay. We're going to do a side bend because the muscles that help us side bend support us in twisting and back bending, yeah? So feel your feet. We're also going to use this as an exercise to really help us stay grounded. So feeling the center of the heel, the ball of the foot on the big toe side and the baby toe side, and if you want to lift and spread your toes, you can, but set them back down gently. And then keeping those feet firmly connected, thinking about lifting up and over a big wine cask or a big barrel. Yeah, and this arm can reach out if you like, or it can come up. And breathing here. If you want to bring your hand onto a chair or the wall, you can do that. And then notice too, I was noticing earlier, there was this, I was kind of dumping into my hip. So we're going to keep the weight in both feet as we do that breath. Maybe you turn your head to look up. And then we'll come on back up. Pausing again, feeling the feet. And then thinking about coming up and over on the other side. Your breath is easy. Your arm can do what it wants. Maybe you bring it up. Certainly if we want to have that one arm up, this is maybe part of it. And again, just notice if you're sort of dumping into your hips, feel your feet, feel yourself lifting up and out. And maybe turning your head to look at the sky if that feels okay. Or maybe you look straight ahead, or maybe you turn and look down. Yeah? And then we'll come on back up. Nice. Let's give our dancer another try. Weight in your supporting leg. Reaching. Oh, you know what? I should have given you another tip too. Taking hold of the ankle. Sometimes it's easier to reach. Bring the leg forward and bring it back. Just be careful when you do that you don't stay bent over. Yeah? All right. Here we go. Drawing the leg back. Pushing the foot into the hand. Other arm can go up or down. And maybe it goes a little bit farther this time. Or maybe not. Or maybe it just feels a little bit different. So notice what your dancer feels like now after that side bend intervention. Yeah. Good. We're going to do one more. I want to say too that these aren't necessarily the moves to make your dancer better. They are just some moves that might win you a little more freedom in your dancer. And a lot depends on your body and what's going on in your body. So please don't take this as these are the things that you have to do and then your dancer will improve. Right? And also your dancer is great however it is, right? We all dance differently. It's all good. Dance like no one's watching, right? Okay. Our next move is going to be a twist. And again, I'll give you a couple of options for this. One is to use the chair again and to bring your knee up on the chair. The other is to bring it up onto a block. Yeah. And the other is to go into a lunge. Yeah. Or even a warrior two. So you decide what's going to be the twist that you would like to do. I'm going to actually do mine on the blocks this time, just for fun. So you can see here that I have less, my leg is not lifted quite as much, so there's a little less work. Perhaps a little more ease. And I'm going to twist towards that front leg. I'm going to allow the pelvis to stay still, and the rib cage is going to come around. And I'm going to bring one hand across. And the other hand, I'm just going to reach it down and back. So I've got a little bit of extension here. Yeah, and the arms reaching down kind of like it would in the pose, right? And then you can also think about your shoulder blades. And for the arm that's in front, I'm going to think about the shoulder blade moving away from the spine. Protraction. And this arm that's back, I'm going to think about the shoulder blade moving towards the spine. Retraction. And it might give me a little bit more movement in the upper spine. And if you want to turn your head all the way, go for it. But I'd also challenge you to just play with letting the head move back and forth. Sometimes what happens is we throw our head all the way back before our body gets there. And our twist ends up looking like this instead of like this. Yeah? Bring that back down, pause, and just feel what you feel. And then we'll go to the other side. I'll do it facing you this time. Actually, before I do that, so again with the twist, I don't know if you'll be able to see here. I don't know if I'll pull it closer. But this is, if this were my front arm, my shoulder blade is moving away from my spine. And then this would be my back arm, and my shoulder blade is moving towards my spine. Towards my spine. Yeah? I hope you can see that. Okay. All right, here we go. So we're going the other way. You might be in a, I gotta move my blocks so they don't tilt on me. So I'm not in a lunge, but you could be, right? And the rib cage is gonna rotate on the pelvis towards that front leg. I'm taking one arm across, and I'm reaching the other one down and back. And I'm gonna do that thing with my shoulder blade moving away, front shoulder blade moves away, back shoulder blade moves towards the spine. And if you want to turn and look over your shoulder, go for it. Turn around this way now so you can see. And just breathe. Now you may be thinking too, do I actually even have to have my leg in the air? No, you don't. I just find it a little more accessible to have the leg in front for the twist. I find just standing, it becomes easier to, the hips tend to want to come, the pelvis wants to come more. With the leg there, it's just easier to be stable with the pelvis. All right, so we've done our twists. Let's come back to our dancer pose. And I'm going to do mine at the wall this time, just because it's one of my favorite places to do dancer. So I like to bring my hand up to the wall and come really close. Reach back. Push the foot into the hand, and then find that back bend. Okay, I'm too close now. And then let's take the other side. Supporting leg, nice and steady. Take taking a hold of that ankle. Remember, you can bring the leg back or the leg forward first, or you can use your strap and finding your dancer. And just noticing how it feels now. Come on back. Nice. So I want to say one more thing about dancer is what I often find, or there's different ways to do dancer, and one of the common sort of what's the word I want, options, or there's the staying more upright or taking it more forward. And what I tend to prefer the more upright version, and the reason why is what I tend to see is we come into dancer, say here, and then people start to fold forward, and instead of, you can see there's a little bit of extension at my hip here, right, which is part of what the pose is. What I see though when people come forward is they start to hinge at the hip, and now can you see that this angle is getting smaller, and I'm not extending at my hip anymore. So this is one thing, this is dancer when I have some hip extension, right? But what I find is as people fold forward, they lose that hip extension, and then we're doing a different pose altogether. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you want to work that hip extension, then you need to work the hip extension. And that's one reason why I do like doing it at the wall, because it encourages you to stay more upright. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed that little exploration of dancer pose. And I hope that exploring some of those movements, maybe some other movements as well, will help you find some more freedom to express the dancer that's inside of you and to dance like no one's watching, whether it's Valentine's Day or any other day of the year. Thanks for watching.